Hi everybody. I am going to talk about the national initiatives for the protection of rights of persons with disability. Disability is part of the human condition. Almost everyone may experience temporarily or permanently impaired at some point in life, and those who survive to old age experience increasing difficulties in functioning. New initiatives have been taken to protect the rights of persons with a disability. Different perspectives on social work interventions have emerged to support and enhance the quality of life of the disabled persons. In this backdrop, it is relevant to discuss the various rights of persons with a disability, the importance of protecting their rights, and the national initiatives for the same purpose. Among such initiatives, the National Policy for Persons with Disabilities, Persons with Disabilities Act, National Trust Act that is meant to promote the rights of persons with disabilities need to be discussed. At the end of this talk, you will understand the importance of protecting the rights of persons with disability, gain adequate knowledge about the various national initiatives taken for the protection of persons with disability, and learn the role and functions of different structures and mechanisms for the rehabilitation and protection of the rights of persons with disability. Let me discuss about the National Policy for Persons with Disabilities 2006. The national policy recognizes that persons with disabilities are valuable human resources for the country and seeks to create an environment that provides equal opportunities, protection of their rights, and full participation in society. It is in consonance with the basic principles of equality, freedom, justice, and dignity of all individuals that are enshrined in the Constitution of India and implicitly mandate an inclusive society for all, including persons with disabilities. The national policy recognizes the fact that a majority of persons with disabilities can lead a better quality of life if they have equal opportunities and effective access to rehabilitation measures. Let me state the salient features of the National Policy for Persons with Disabilities. The national policy underlines the need for physical rehabilitation, educational rehabilitation, and economic rehabilitation. Physical rehabilitation includes early detection and intervention, counseling and medical intervention, and provision of aids and appliances. It also includes the development of human resources required for rehabilitation at the professional level. Educational rehabilitation refers to vocational training, and economic rehabilitation refers to a dignified life in society. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is the nodal ministry to coordinate all matters related to the implementation of this policy. Let me outline the mechanism for the implementation of the national policy. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment is a nodal ministry to coordinate all matters relating to the implementation of this policy. The Central Coordination Committee, with the stakeholder representation, coordinates matters related to the implementation of the national policy. There is a similar committee at the state level. Panchayat Raj institutions and urban local bodies are associated in the functioning of the district disability rehabilitation centers. They are required to play a crucial role in the implementation of the national policy to address local level issues. The Ministries of Home Affairs, Health and Family Welfare, Rural Development, Urban Development, Youth Affairs and Sports, Railways, science and technology, statistics and program implementation, labor, Panchayat Raj and women and child development, and departments of elementary education and literacy, secondary and higher education, road transport and highways, public enterprises, revenue, information technology, and personnel and training are also identified for the implementation of the policy. The Chief Commissioner for the persons with disabilities at central level and state commissioners at the state level play a key role in the implementation of the policy apart from their statutory responsibilities. Let me mention about the 3 obligations arising out of UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which India signed on March 30th, 2007, was ratified and came into force on May 3rd, 2008. There are 3 important obligations as a result of this convention, namely, implementation of the provisions of the treaty of this convention, harmonization of Indian laws with the treaty, and preparation of a country report by 2010. All the concerned central ministries were requested to implement the provisions of the treaty in so far as these are related to their respective ministries. The need for focus on women and children was also emphasized. The ministries were also requested to identify statutes and orders that require amendment in the light of the convention and to initiate the process of amendment. Let me tell you about the disability certificates. The Persons with Disabilities Act 1995 provides certain benefits to persons with disabilities who have not less than 40% of any disability as certified by a medical authority. Thus, a person with a disability who wishes to avail the benefits under the Act has to obtain a disability certificate from the medical authority notified for the purpose. State governments are responsible for issuing disability certificates on the basis of applications from the persons with disabilities. There are some statutory committees responsible for the implementation of the national policy. They are Central Coordination Committee and Central Executive Committee. Central Coordination Committee, constituted under Section 3 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995, is chaired by the Minister for Social Justice and Empowerment and has official and non-official members, including members of the Parliament, representatives of organizations of persons with disabilities, and experts in the field of disability. It serves as a national focal point on disability matters and facilitates the continuous evolution of a comprehensive policy towards solving the problems faced by persons with disability. It advises the central government on the formulation of policies, programs, legislation and projects with respect to disability, and reviews and coordinates the activities of all the ministries or departments of the government and other governmental and non-governmental organizations which are dealing with matters relating to persons with disability. It takes up the cause of persons with disability with the concerned authorities and international organizations with a view to provide for schemes and projects for the disabled in the national plans and other programs and policies evolved by the international agencies. Central Executive Committee, constituted under Section 9 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995, chaired by the Secretary, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, is the executive body of the Central Coordination Committee. It is responsible for carrying out the decisions of the Central Coordination Committee and performs such other functions as may be delegated to it by the Central Coordination Committee. Let me mention about the provisions of the Persons with Disability Act that are related to rehabilitation of the disabled. Section 2 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995 defines rehabilitation as a process aimed at enabling persons with disabilities to reach and maintain their optimal physical, sensory, intellectual, psychological or social functional levels. Let me tell you about the components of rehabilitation of persons with disability. Some of the main components of rehabilitation of persons are provision of assistive aids and appliances, education, vocational training, assistance for employment and training in or assistance for independent living. Central government has been providing grant in aid to non-governmental organizations over successive 5-year plans through various schemes for projects relating to rehabilitation of persons with disability, including the Deen Dayal Disabled Rehabilitation Scheme that covers these components, namely education, vocational training, assistance for employment, and training in or assistance for independent living. The scheme of assistance to disabled persons for purchase or fitting of aids or appliances covers the component training in or assistance for independent living. Let me state the schemes of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment operates various schemes for the empowerment and rehabilitation of persons with disabilities. The schemes aim to promote physical, psychological, social, educational, and economic rehabilitation and development of persons with disabilities to enhance their quality of life and also enable them to lead a life with dignity. The major schemes for rehabilitation of persons with disabilities are: first, scheme of assistance to disabled persons for purchase or fitting of aids or appliances. This scheme aims at physical rehabilitation of persons with disabilities through provision of assistive aids and appliances. 2. Deen Dayal Disabled Rehabilitation Scheme is an umbrella scheme that addresses all aspects of rehabilitation and includes projects covering various services ranging from programs for preschool and early intervention to rehabilitation of leprosy cured persons. 3. Scheme for implementation of Persons with Disabilities Act. Under the scheme, funds are provided for projects to make public buildings barrier-free, support to the institutions at regional and district level providing services to persons, and the creation of awareness on related issues. 4. Scheme of incentives to employers in the private sector are provided for providing employment to persons with disabilities. Let me mention the national institutes working in the field of disability. There are 7 national institutes under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment working in the field of disability. These institutes are engaged in human resource development in the field of disability, providing rehabilitation services to the persons, undertaking research and development related to the disabled. These national institutes, including the regional centers and composite regional centers, run 80 courses of 1 year or more duration. The 7 national institutes are: 1. National Institute for the Visually Handicapped, Dehradun. 2. National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Multiple Disabilities, Chennai. 3. Swami Vivekanand National Institute for the Rehabilitation, Training and Research, Cuttack. 4. National Institute for the Hearing Handicapped, Mumbai. 5. National Institute for the Mentally Handicapped, Secunderabad. 6. National Institute for the Orthopedically Handicapped, Kolkata, and Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya Institute for the Physically Handicapped, New Delhi. The scheme of setting up composite regional center is a part of overall strategy to reach out to the person in the country and to facilitate the creation of the required infrastructure and capacity building at central, state and district levels for awareness generation, training of rehabilitation professionals, service delivery, and so on. At present, there are 6 composite regional centers functioning at Sundarnagar, Srinagar, Lucknow, Guwahati, Patna, and Bhopal. Next, District Disability Rehabilitation Centers. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, with the active support of the state governments, is providing comprehensive services to the persons with disability by way of setting up of district disability rehabilitation centers in all the unserved districts of the country in order to facilitate the creation of infrastructure and capacity building at district level for awareness generation, rehabilitation, training and guiding rehabilitation professionals. Next, institutions for the economic empowerment of the disabled people. National Handicapped Finance and Development Corporation is an apex institution for channelizing the funds to persons with disabilities through the state channelizing agencies nominated by the state government or through non-governmental organizations under the microcredit scheme. The objectives are to promote economic development activities and self-employment ventures for the benefit of persons with a disability, to extend loan to the persons with a disability for upgradation of their entrepreneurial skill for proper and efficient management of self-employment ventures, to provide loans to persons with disability for pursuing professional or technical education leading to vocational rehabilitation or self-employment, and to assist the self-employed persons with disability in marketing their produce. Let me mention about the national awards for the empowerment of persons with disabilities. The national awards are conferred on the persons with disabilities for their outstanding achievements and the individuals and organizations that are working for the empowerment of persons with a disability. These awards have been instituted in order to draw public attention on the issues concerning persons with disabilities and to promote their mainstreaming in the society. The awards are given on the 3rd of December every year, which has been declared as the International Day of the Disabled Persons. The awards are given under 12 categories, namely Best Employees or Self-Employed with Disabilities, Best Employers and Placement Officer or Agency of Persons with Disability, Best Individual and Institution working for the cause of persons with disability, Role Model, Best Applied Research or Innovation or Product Development aimed at improving the life of persons with disability, Outstanding Work in Creation of Barrier-Free Environment for the Persons with Disability, Best District in Providing Rehabilitation Services, Best Local Level Committee of National Trust, Best State Channelizing Agency of the National Handicapped Finance and Development Corporation, Outstanding Creative Adult Persons with Disability, Best Creative Child with Disability, and Best Braille Press. Let me describe the role of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment in the disability sector. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment plays a vital role in the implementation of policies laid down for the protection of the rights of persons with a disability in India. The Office of the Chief Commissioner for Persons with a Disability has been set up to take steps to safeguard the rights and facilities to the persons with a disability. Based on the complaints filed before him or her, if the provisions of the Persons with Disabilities Act, any rules, bylaws, regulations, executive orders or instructions are violated or are not implemented, the Chief Commissioner takes up the matters with the concerned authorities. The Act also empowers the Chief Commissioner to issue suo motu notice of any such non-compliance. The National Trust for the Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Disability and Multiple Disabilities is a statutory body set up under the National Trust for the Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Disability and Multiple Disabilities. The main objective of the National Trust is to ensure persons with disabilities to lead independent life with dignity, support, and strengthen non-governmental organizations and other service providers, and appoint legal guardians to take care of the needs of persons with a disability. The major activities of National Trust include training and awareness programs, capacity building program, and shelter, caregiving, and empowerment programs. The Rehabilitation Council of India was initially set up and given statutory status by an Act of Parliament, namely Rehabilitation Council of India Act 1992. This Act was subsequently amended in 2000. The Council is responsible for regulating and monitoring the training of rehabilitation professionals and personnel, promoting research in rehabilitation and special education. Let me mention about the other major initiatives. Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation of India was set up in 1972 by the Government of India, a not-for-profit company with a mission of empowerment of persons with disabilities and restoration of their dignity. It is involved in manufacturing and supplying durable, sophisticated, scientifically manufactured, modern and ISI standard quality assistive aids and appliances that can promote physical, psychological, social, economic and vocational rehabilitation by reducing the effect of disabilities and enhancing the potential for self-dependence. It is a premier and the largest manufacturer of quality aids and appliances in the whole of South Asia. With reference to accessibility to buildings, Sections 45 and 46 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995 envisage barrier-free accessibility in public buildings, which includes ramps, adaptation of toilets for wheelchair users, and so on. Several central ministries have been requested to take appropriate steps in this regard. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has launched its accessible website www.socialjustice.nic.in, which is disabled friendly. A new category of national awards for the welfare and development of persons with disabilities has been announced for launching disabled friendly websites in government, public and private sectors. There is a dedicated satellite channel on disability, the EduSat channel, Now Shikhar. This has been set up at the office of the Rehabilitation Council of India in collaboration with Indian Space and Research Organization and Media Lab Asia for the benefits of the students, trainees, and parents of the persons with disability. There is also a national interactive web portal on disability. Rehabilitation Council of India, in collaboration with the Media Lab Asia, has developed a comprehensive national web portal, namely www.punarbhava.in on disability. The portal is designed to provide related information regarding different disability issues at one platform on regular basis. Let me mention the other ministries related to the programs for the persons with a disability. Besides the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, other ministries or departments of Government of India which attend to certain policy measures and other incidental issues related to disability through their programs and activities are the Ministry of Women and Child Development, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Labour and Employment, Department of Higher Education, Department of Personnel and Training, Department of Science and Technology, and Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. Let me sum up. New initiatives have been taken to protect the rights of persons with a disability. Different perspectives on social work interventions have emerged to support and enhance the quality of life of the disabled persons. The national policy recognizes that persons with a disability are valuable human resource for the country and seeks to create an environment that provides equal opportunities, protection of their rights, and full participation in society. The national policy is in consonance with the basic principles of equality, freedom, justice, and dignity of all individuals that are enshrined in the Constitution of India and implicitly mandate an inclusive society for all, including the persons with a disability. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which India signed on March 30, 2007, was ratified and came into force on May 3, 2008. There are some statutory committees responsible for the implementation of the national policy, namely Central Coordination Committee and Central Executive Committee. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment plays a vital role in the implementation of policies laid down for the protection of the rights of persons with a disability in India. Let me sign off now and hope to see you in another session. Thank you.